Well, good morning, Coffee Time friends. It is fall. The weather is cool this morning. And one of the best things about fall is definitely the food. All things pumpkin, and a lot of people like pumpkin coffee. I'm more of a purist when it comes to my coffee. I just want regular coffee. I will do a few flavors every now and then, but not a lot. But um, normally we have a big party for our friends and family. Usually the Saturday before Halloween. We call it a better circumstance party because, if some tragedy happens or someone passes in the family, everyone gathers up and they say, "It was good to visit with you, but I wish it was under better circumstances." So, about 5 years ago, we started having a better circumstance party the Saturday before Halloween, and we invite everybody over, and we kind of send it out as we'll be receiving friends at 7 o'clock, just so that we can uh, celebrate each other under better circumstances. So every year, my mama she makes pumpkin rolls and all the pumpkin dips and just all kinds of wonderful things for the party, and people come from everywhere and they eat and have a good time. So this year, with the COVID, we weren't able to do that. So we have had treats, zero fall treats this year. So today, Mama is making a pumpkin roll. If y'all don't know what a pumpkin roll is, it's that it's pumpkin bread cake. What is it, Mama?
It's like a cake and it's thin and you roll it up.
It's like a
jelly
cake.
rolls.
It's like a jelly roll. She does make at Christmas time red velvet rolls, and they're delicious. So we'll have to do a coffee time on one of those too. But she does the pumpkin roll, and it's delicious and it's beautiful. Pumpkin roll is wonderful to have for Thanksgiving too. So it's a good. One thing I like about pumpkin roll for Thanksgiving dinner is it's a sort of a quick serve yourself. Everybody can just pick it up off the plate. Don't have to worry about cutting a piece of pie or any of that, and people can eat it and they enjoy it, and it's just a fast little finger food. So, Mama is ready to show us the pumpkin roll, and I'm going to turn it over to Mama and let her get started on showing y'all how to make this wonderful treat. And I'm going to sit here and drink coffee while she works. Okay, Mama, show us what you're up to over there.
Okay, I'm getting the pan ready for my pumpkin roll. I have put oil in the bottom and you use wax paper or parchment paper, whichever one you got or one you use. I've got both. The wax paper was just handy, so I'm using wax paper, and you have to grease your. I use oil, but you don't use olive oil. You use vegetable oil, and I put it on the pan where I've oiled it, and now what I do is put a little bit more because you've got to be able to pour this paper off of your pumpkin roll when you take it up.
So you have to coat the bottom and the top.
Well, you coat the bottom so that your paper will stick to it and lay down smooth,
Mm-hmm.
and then you coat this so that it the cake will come right off from it.
You know, you've made these for years and years, and I think this is the first time I ever sat and watched you make them.
Well, you should make them yourself, and that way you'll know.
I don't think I could do that.
Oh, I believe you could. I know you could.
I don't know how you roll cake up without tearing it all apart.
It's not got the oil in it. It's got more eggs, and that makes it firmer. It's like potato cakes. You use the eggs to bind it together. And what I'm going to do now, I've got the pan ready. I've got the oven on, and it's already preheated.
To what degree?
Just 350. I don't know if my recipe even tells what temperature. No, I don't have. Yeah, I think it's 350. And you bake it for like 12 or 15 minutes. And my pumpkin roll consists of 3/4 cups of self-rising flour, 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. And it calls for 3 eggs. I've got 1 egg in here, and there's 2. And all my spices I've measured out, and they're right in here. And the flour is right here, 3/4 cup. And cup of sugar is right here. And 2/3 cup of pumpkins right here. And these chopped pecans, after you get it poured in your pan, you sprinkle your pecans over top of it, and it bakes in it, and they'll stay in it some to roll it up. So what I gotta do now is mix all of this together. That's my 3/4 cups of flour. This is my spices I'm gonna put in here. This is all of them: the cinnamon nut, the allspice, and pumpkin pie spice. And I'm gonna kind of mix them in together.
So you're mixing dry ingredients.
Dry ingredients, yeah.
Okay. So how much spices was it again?
It's a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon, a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. Now you don't want to put a lot of allspice because it has a lot of cloves in it. And here goes Messy Martha knocking the flour out.
You need an apron over your pretty Halloween outfit.
No, that'll be all right. And this is my cup of sugar measured out. And this is my 1 egg. And these are country eggs. They should help it some. That's my 2. That's my 3rd egg. And now I'm gonna have to, you may have to pause till I get over here to the mixer in a minute, but I'm gonna kind of stir this up a little like this. Get my eggs, and if you'll see, there's no oil in this cake. Oil would make it fall apart more, and you couldn't roll it. So it's the 3 eggs that kind of makes it flexible enough you can roll. And this is my 2/3 cup of pumpkin that's going in here now.
Two-thirds.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you may have to wait. I'm going to get over here to the mixer.
Okay.
See, it's already looking like pumpkin pie stuff.
Let's look inside there. And it already smells good.
Oh, yeah. You can smell all those spices are blending and going.
Okay, folks. We're going to get ready to mix. Hold on just a second.
I've got it mixed up with the spatula some, but in order for it to all be blended good, I use a mixer, and that just makes it a little more fluffier and better mixed. And excuse the noise for just a few seconds because I'm going to mix it up, and then I'll show you the rest of it. I hope that wasn't too bad on you.
Nah, it's tolerable.
And you can see the difference in the texture once I whipped it a minute. Now what I'm going to do is pour it in the pan. And there's nothing really to it. And I usually just dump everything in as I go, but I try to measure all this out so it would be quicker and easier for you to watch. My mommy taught me, get everything out of the bowl you can.
Well, you know, Somebody might want to lick the bowl or something.
Oh, sure.
So it's super, super thin.
Yeah, he'll bake up.
Wow. All these years, I guess I just never paid any attention or never watched you make them. Usually you got them done.
I ain't never had it filmed before.
You probably wait till I was gone to make them.
I usually do. And what I'm going to do now is give it a little shake. And that way it kind of levels out any humps or anything that could be in it. So I've done that. And what I do next is I take my pecans, about a half a cup or so, and I just kind of sprinkle. And it's important to put it on it before you bake, because if you bake it and then put them on, they'll just fall right back off, you know.
Now those are chopped up.
Chopped pecans. This is the way I bought these. If you have half pecans, you just take a little chopper and chop them up a few.
So now, do you roll that long side or short side?
I roll it long side. A lot of people rolls it from this end up, but I think it gives bigger rolls and a little bit more than what people want to eat at one time. So I roll mine this way. It gives you, don't give you more pumpkin roll, but it gives you more to serve if you do it that way.
Oh, that's neat. Because the other way would be a thicker, rounder
It would
roll.
be thicker, and a lot of people, when they've eaten, they don't want all that much dessert. So over the years, way back, I figured that, well, at one of my dinners, Christmas or Thanksgiving dinners, I seen some left on a plate. And I thought, well, you know, that's wasting. And I don't like to waste, so I thought if I rolled it the other way, it would be smaller amount and they'd eat it all.
So what you're saying is they left it and wasted it, and you
I couldn't stand it.
and you said, you gonna waste that? You ain't getting that bigger roll next time.
That's right. So now all I'm going to do is put it in the oven. Can't walk with them glasses on. And and let it bake for 12 or 15 minutes. You just kind of watch it, and you can tell. And you can put your hand on the top of it and see. And then I'll tell you the rest of it while it's baking.
So you're putting it in a preheated 350-degree oven.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just 12 minutes?
12 to 15 minutes. It's just so thin that it don't take long. A thick cake or just a regular round 8-inch cake takes like 30 or 35 minutes. So, and this is like way thinner than it is, so it don't take that long for it to bake. So right now it's 9:23. So at 9:30 would be 17 minutes. I don't need that much, so it's just a few minutes before 9:30.
Okay.
Okay, and what I do next, I'll tell you a little bit of it, and I'm gonna get it ready while it's baking. We may have to stop it. I get a dish towel, a clean, smooth dish towel, and I put powdered sugar on it to dump it out on. And I roll it up in it, and I cool it. And then I've got the stuff for my icing. It takes cream cheese, and this is powdered sugar, vanilla, and butter. And you make your filling for it then, and we'll do that in just a few minutes, so we'll be back. Okay, I've got my towel, your dish towel, but you need a smooth cotton dish towel. No terry cloth, no fuzzy. I've had this one for years and years.
I love when I see that towel. I know we're getting something good.
And what I'm doing is putting my powdered sugar, and I make this usually so much, this little sifter and a half a cup of measuring, I keep in my powdered sugar can for years. I've done this. And I've got it handy. And all I do is just coat it. And if you get a lump or something, your little thing will just mash it out. And it's just coated like that. That's all I have to do. And after you dump your cake up is when you roll it up. You lay it out flat, and then you pull your wax paper off of your cake, your roll, and then you roll it up after you get the wax paper off.
Oh my! If you didn't take that wax paper off, it would be...
You'd get a little fiber. And then right here I've got my cream cheese. It's just a regular cream cheese in here.
How many ounces is that?
I don't know. 8 ounces. And this is well, you can use a cup or a cup and a fourth, so I just heap in that cup. And it says a half a cup of margarine, but I use butter, so I've got a half a cup of butter. Your butter sticks has the measurements on it, not a half a cup.
And that's
sorry, a fourth a cup of butter.
And that's just salted.
Salted butter, real butter. And it's a fourth a cup, not a half. And you kind of let it melt a little bit. And then you add a teaspoon of vanilla. And that's really all. And you mix it all up and whip it. But you've got to let your cake cool down. If you put it on there while your cake is warm or hot, it will just melt this and it'd be runny and you wouldn't have the pretty white cream cheese rolls. So you always have to let the cake cool down. So it's getting about time. It's 12 minutes, I think, now. I'm going to test it. I'm going to leave it one more minute because it's a little...
Oh my gosh. When that oven opened, it smelled just like Thanksgiving jumped out of that oven. Oh, that smells so good. Mother, you are...
I'm moving too much for you.
You're making me seasick.
You'll never be a captain of a ship then.
No, I can't. Trying to keep you on this camera.
I ain't used to that. I'm used to moving and doing.
I know. Teresa, I've probably never seen you make this before. You probably say, now get out here and leave me alone.
I wouldn't do that, would I?
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
So what are you testing there? Like if it's firm?
Yeah, see it don't sink in.
Okay. And here it comes.
And here you can see why it's important to put the pecans on it before it's baked. Cause
They kind of sunk in there.
they bake up around the pecans and they stay in there. And you might want to back up because this is messy, Marvin, sure enough. Because you've got to get this.
You got to do that really hot too, don't you?
Yeah, you can't let it cool down in the pan.
Are we going to get a puff of powder?
Yes, we are. I said we was. Done pretty good.
We didn't get a puff of powder.
And see how your pan, that oil makes that come loose?
Yeah, if you forgot to take that plastic off, it'd be chewy.
It might give you just a little fiber.
I still play as wax paper, right?
Yeah. Use wax paper or parchment paper, either one.
Oh, yeah. Look at that steam coming off there, and it is smells so good.
I better let it cool just a second. Let that first bust of steam get off of it. Steam, I mean.
So the nuts, of course you would do your pecans down, and you roll it up, they'll be on the outside. So this is the inside of that pumpkin roll.
When it cools down, you roll it back out just like this. And then you spread your cream cheese all over this. And then you roll it back up again without the towel.
The towel. Well, that would be a lot of... Okay, now, you're doing the magic roll right now, aren't you?
Well, I don't know if it'll work or not. Sometimes it won't, sometimes it does.
Oh, towel inside.
How are you going to roll it if you don't?
Oh, I see, Mother.
And it just, once you get it started, you just gently keep rolling. And you can feel the heat coming off of that. And when it gets cool, then you roll it back out and you
Will
do.
it? Okay, when it's cool, will it be rolled or does it come back
You
flat?
don't let it get cold, cold. It'll roll out and it'll have the ridges where you
So
roll.
this kind of sets it to be in a roll.
Yeah. If you didn't roll it now and you let it cool, you couldn't roll it. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand now.
Okay.
You are a good teacher, Mama.
Well, thank you.
I don't ever want to make one of these though.
How come?
Because they're hard.
They're not that hard. So,
Now you do the, which we won't, we'll do it later, but you do the red velvet. It's very similar to that, don't you?
I've got a red velvet roll recipe, but I have made them out of the red velvet cake mix in a hurry, and you omit the oil and add an extra egg. That's what I did. Which it didn't roll as good as starting from scratch, but it tasted, it done all right and stuff.
And they're pretty at Christmas because you get that
Yeah.
red and white, and it's in a swirl, and
Yeah,
it looks good when you're entertaining, and you got it on your dessert buffet.
At our better circumstance party, we've had as high as 74 or 75 here one year. So
But we didn't have red velvet at the better circumstances.
no, not
It's all pumpkin roll and cheese ball. And I wish we could have had it this year because we could have showed you all kinds of. Now, what's that, Mama?
vanilla flavor. That's that teaspoon of vanilla flavor.
A teaspoon. And I think yours is a little extra.
No, it won't hurt. Vanilla's good for you. And my husband loved the better circumstances party, and he'd fuss because I'd have it every year. And then he was on dialysis, and he'd come in one day. I've invited the ladies at dialysis, and I've invited this one, and I've invited that one down at the barber downtown, and he loved to invite people to come to him and sit and talk. And when he got through, a lot of times he invited more than we did.
Yeah, and it didn't hurt that it was really close to his birthday when we had it.
No. His birthday's November the 8th. It's coming up in a few days.
Yeah.
He would have been 76.
He would love to sit and talk with all the folks.
He enjoyed talking and being with them so much. So right now, I'm just going to wait. I'll mix this butter and cream cheese and flavoring up together, and then I'll gradually add my powdered sugar. So if you want to wait a minute, I'll have this mixed, and they won't have to listen to that mixer.
You're gonna mix it without.
Yeah, unless you want to hold it up from over there, and I'll just do it. They can so don't have to be so loud noise on them. Cream cheese could be a little bit softer.
Well, you got a minute to let this
and
go.
It looks stiff, but as you add the powdered sugar, most of the time when you add the dry ingredients, stuff gets thicker and thicker. But I don't know what it does, this butter and cream cheese, when you first start adding it. It gets thinner and smoother. You can tell right there, it's real thick like. About to
You're
lose it.
about to have a wreck.
About to lose it. I've got it.
So you don't want to add any liquid to this.
No. The vanilla flavored and the melted butter is all the liquid you have to pour. And you can see right here on the side how lumpy
Yeah.
it was. Now look down in there how smooth the powdered sugar has made it work out.
So if you had liquid, it'd be way too thin to hold on there.
It would never set up enough to cut it and serve it. It'd just run out like a thin glaze on
Do
something.
you need a spatula?
I will.
Let me dry it off for you. Will you dry it off for yourself?
I'll just get the ends of that off so it won't drop down. And you can see how it is. See how thick? But you've got to get it smooth. If it's a little too thin, add more powdered sugar along. It makes it thinner and smoother to start with, but once it gets in this stage, when you add a little more, it will get thicker. But that's right there is the way it should, just like a good cake icing would look.
Yeah. A lot of people have asked about this spatula that we're using here. This came from Mad Hungry on QVC, and it came with several others. That purple one and some more you've seen us use. Are you through over here?
Yes, now all we have to do is just wait for the cake to cool and then spread it and roll it back up. And
Wait?
And it's not near cool enough now.
So we'll take a little pause and let this cake cool, and then we'll come back and complete it, and hopefully there'll be like a little end piece or something we can taste.
Yeah, I'll give you a little end piece. One.
You're too good, Mother.
I know it.
All right.
I've got you spoiled.
We'll be right back.
I'm sorry, it took a little longer because when you bake and do the different steps, it consume a lot of time. So I've unrolled it. That's all you just do. Just roll it back gently like you do it. And I've spread most of the cream cheese, and all you do is put it on there with a with a spatula, or you can use a case knife, and you just smooth it out like that. That's all you have to do.
It's kind of a thin coat, isn't it, Mama?
Well, a lot of times I make like a batch and a half if I want it real thick.
I said it's prettier when it's thinner, kind of like peanut butter roll.
Yeah. And I just try to get all the sort of kind of be some over every bit of it. Then all you do is take the side that you roll back. This is the inside of the roll, because this is what makes it be able to roll, and it's not going to roll as good as I want it to.
When you're doing that first roll, it will break a little bit, won't it, every once in a while?
Yeah, and it's sticking a little. I probably needed to coat this towel. It was awful hot.
But now this will all be on the inside. It's that last roll that's going to be on the outside. And there you can tell it's getting that lock. There we go. So don't panic when it starts cracking a little bit when you first start rolling.
No.
Just remember that's on the inside.
Okay. And this has got powdered sugar on it. Of course, it's thicker on that side. But if it don't, you take your little sifter thing and you sprinkle just a little bit of powdered sugar on it in order for it to look white and stuff.
Ooh.
And here is a end piece, and I'll see if I can turn it around and you can get a picture of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can have a sample, so.
Oh, Mama, this is my lucky day. Hold on just a second. Let me. Mm-hmm. Let me get my camera set down here. Ooh, looky there. Now look, this is what you get. Now this is the end piece. Of course, it's going to be a little rougher than the middle pieces. So if you're fixing it up for a dinner or something, just cut your end pieces off.
We usually eat the end pieces, don't
We do usually eat the end pieces. Just cut your end pieces off, and then you've got that pretty pumpkin roll to lay on your plate. So I get to sample. Mmm. That is so good. Mmm. Folks, you gotta try this. It takes a little while, but you know, it's worth it. Mama, come over and say goodbye to the folks. This video did go a little longer than we usually do, but it takes a while to do all
It's
that.
a lot of stuff to it.
Y'all have a safe and happy Halloween.
Very happy Halloween to everybody.
Make y'all
Hope
some,
you've enjoyed it.
make y'all some memories and find you something good to eat. Say goodbye, Mama.
Goodbye, Mama.